You guys remember the real life Jersey Shore lookalike Officer Crazy Pants that we covered back in July after she broke into her ex-boyfriend's house, beat up everybody inside, vandalized their vehicles, fought responding officers, and then got released on a citation? Well, they've finally dropped the body cam because this case is resolved, and it is a doozy. Let's talk about it. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to Southern Draw Law. My name is James White, criminal defense attorney, former prosecutor, former police officer. Here I am. My captors have at least allowed me access to my camera. Welcome to the Caribbean. We're somewhere between the Bahamas and Mexico. You guys remember this little beauty? Let's pop up her picture here on the screen. I jokingly called her a potential candidate for a understudy to the role of Snooki for the next Jersey Shore reboot, which will surely at some point manifest itself for the good of humanity. A Snookalike, if you will. See what I did there? I'll be honest. I was surprised to learn that this case has resolved fairly quickly, a lot quicker than I expected, and I was very surprised at the outcome. Now, you guys know I try to keep my updates limited to the rebuttal series, but where there's a case where I feel like more needs to be said than I can say in just a couple minutes, I try to do full video updates. So I try to do as few full video updates where you have to sit through regurgitated information as possible, and then I try to do as many as I can on the rebuttal to sort of keep a good balance. But this is one that I really felt like needed to be shown because the body cam wasn't available at the time. Before we get too far ahead of ourselves, I'd like to give you a little bit of a recap. So back in April, Rebecca, I said Sayegh in the first video I did on this because that's the way it's spelled, and I'm an Appalachian sounded out kind of guy. But apparently her name is pronounced Sayegh. So back in April, somewhere around midnight, I guess she works in Toms River, New Jersey as a police officer, and there's a neighboring district called Berkeley Township. And her ex-boyfriend lives in Berkeley Township, and apparently she notices in the process of stalking him that he has invited a new female friend into the home they used to share. And that didn't sit well with her, so she did what every good morning young lady would do, which is that she called up her friends, invited them over for a good group cry, too much wine, and a friends marathon, right? No, that's not what she did at all. She used her police-issued baton, busted out the glass door, went inside, assaulted him, assaulted the new girlfriend, went outside, vandalized their vehicles, and then fought with responding officers. And then the police released her on a citation, and they didn't tell the prosecutor about it. So she was able to avoid accountability through the weekend, and they didn't find out until Monday. But again, at that time that we had this case, we knew the narrative that they wanted us to know, but that we didn't actually have the body cam. But the body cam has been dropped. And believe me when I tell you that you guys will actually be shocked at what she was able to get away with that you and I would never get away with. And even after that, the efforts that they made to try to cover this up for her. So without further ado, let's just go out and check out the New York Post's coverage of the body cam, and then we'll come back and talk about a couple ideas on the other side.
Yeah,
she's upstairs throwing a tantrum. Okay, she broke.
Can I go in this way?
Walked in.
Rebecca.
I'm not doing this right now.
You are, Rebecca. Stop.
No,
Stop.
I'm not. I'm getting all my.
I got you, but stop for a second.
No, I'm getting all my stuff.
Rebecca, stop for a second.
This is ridiculous, Kyle. Like, I have a closet full of clothes here. I have all my important here. And he wants to sit here and have a random here with all my belongings, thinking that what she's going to be the new parent to my dog,
right,
saying that she's going to move in. Get the out
all
of
right,
here.
we're going to stop screaming now.
Like, oh, look. All my stuff. Look. You want to see? All my stuff. All my stuff. My stuff. My stuff. My stuff.
Rebecca.
I don't care. I need my phone. I'm calling my PBA rep.
All right, well, this is the problem here. You're not going to stay up here.
No,
Rebecca.
hold on, I'm going to my
Rebecca.
car.
No, you're not. Rebecca. Rebecca. Stop.
I'm going to my car.
Stop. She's walking up front.
We're not this. We don't need the whole force here.
She's not leaving.
Watch out. Watch out.
She's not leaving. She's grabbing her phone. Rebecca, come on. Stay out here for a minute. I need you to do it. Do me a solid here and just stop making this
calling my
more.
brother.
All right, stop making this harder than it's gotta be.
You need to come here right now. Because I'm now. Well, I just smashed his front door in.
Smash the front door. Oh, she's right here.
I'm over here. I'm not a problem. If he was a liar and didn't have all my belongings in here and my dog, we wouldn't have a problem. I'm calling my mother right
I
now.
don't care. You're under arrest.
But for what? Criminal mischief?
Yeah, and breaking in.
So criminal
Burglary.
mischief isn't an arrestable offense.
Rebecca.
Hold on. First of all,
Rebecca, stop. Please stop. You're making this a lot harder than it's gotta be. Rebecca.
no, we're gonna go when I get all my shit.
No, we're.
This is the way to handle this, you know this.
You know better than this.
Okay,
You
well,
know-
I'm calling my PBA.
You know there's not.
PBA
Stay right
right
here.
first.
Rebecca, stay right here.
No,
Stay right
I'm
here.
getting my.
What? What?
Fuck out, man.
Okay, give me a second.
We're not gonna give you a.
Yes, you are. I'm calling my PBA
I don't
rep.
give a.
I don't know who
I
you're
don't
screaming
care.
at. What the are you doing? What are you doing? Are you
Stop resisting.
Are you kidding
Stop
me?
resisting. Stop
I
resisting.
am not resisting. You
Don't put your
just
hand
came
behind your
up
back.
and grabbed my neck. Get off of me.
He ain't grab your neck.
Yes, he did.
Grab your arm. Just take it easy.
Kyle,
Rebecca, just take a deep breath. Stop.
I'm
Stop.
fine. I was just calling my PBA rep. Give me my phone so I can call my mother.
You can call her at the station.
No, you can give me my phone now.
Grab DV paperwork. Yep.
I want my dog. I want my dog. Kyle, I want my dog.
Kyle, remove yourself.
All right. Rebecca, just stop. Be smart.
No, I want my dog.
I'm holding. That's good. Let's go.
I said remove myself. I don't know what that means, but. Rebecca, stop talking. Stop talking. Please stop talking.
At least my hair is nice. Get down.
Alright, someone else want to grab this
Oh,
paper?
we need the paperwork, sir?
Is anyone going to meet me back at the station?
Kyle, go.
I'll meet you at the station.
All right, now that you've actually seen the body cam, let's talk about how this case actually ended. And for once, I have some surprisingly good news. The case didn't disappear. It didn't get diverted. They didn't allow her mental health or whatever garbage the union came up with to be an excuse, because I think there was some serious tension between the prosecutor who had to prosecute this case and New Jersey's mandatory arrest laws, and the fact that he was basically left in the dark as to what the actual circumstances are long enough for her to avoid accountability. And he had to arrest her, have her arrested on warrant on the other side of the weekend. And that allowed the union to coordinate like a mental health stay and some other stuff on her behalf in order for her to try to smooth this over. Well, the prosecutor's office did not let that stand, and they actually did hold her accountable. So I'm happy to tell you that Rebecca Sayegh is now a convicted felon. She pled guilty to burglary and some other charges. She relinquished her ability to be a law enforcement officer in the state of New Jersey forever. She is permanently barred from ever holding a sworn law enforcement position for the rest of her life. And the prosecutor's office is seeking 18 months in prison, followed by a term of probation for some period of time. That alone, to me, is the most significant detail in this, because she'll never be able to put on a badge again and make the types of decisions she made in this case while acting under color of law, which, again, I know she was hailed as a hero and she did some good things as an officer, but the point is you can't have these sort of periods of mental breaks or these violent tendencies and be a law enforcement officer, even though we're currently trying to work our way through a lot of people that hold that badge and still have those tendencies as well. But it's progress. And I thought it was encouraging that the prosecutor didn't treat this like he was going to let it get swept under the rug. And he made sure that there was accountability. And I think that's really, really good. That's the good news. because in terms of outcomes, the system so often protects itself, and it actually did what it was supposed to do in this particular case. And it did so relatively quickly, to be honest, because it's only been since April. So we're talking about 8 months basically from the time that this happened until it's wrapped up. And she's been on unpaid administrative leave ever since. So from that incident forward, she never actually set foot back on the street, never wore a badge again, and never will. In closing, my concerns are deeper than just this particular case, because even with a solid outcome, one that we can say, hey, look, this looks good. It looks good for relative to what happened and the fact that she'll never be able to do this again. It's still impossible to ignore how this case would have unfolded if it was anybody other than a law enforcement officer. And what you saw on the body cam should shock you, because it wasn't just an individual losing control. All you had to do was sort of read the room and pay attention. And you would have noticed that this individual not only acted the way that she thought she was allowed to act, but she believed that she would be insulated from accountability, all while pretending that she was the victim of some police refusing to give her the treatment that she deserved, calling them by their first name and acting like they were the problem. That doesn't happen in a vacuum. It happens because the culture surrounding law enforcement and heavily unionized jurisdictions breeds this sort of allergy to accountability. It creates hesitation on the part of responding officers to take decisive action that might, well end the career of their neighboring town colleague. It creates pressure for those officers to handle things in-house as opposed to telling other people, like the prosecutor's office, or, following the law that mandates arrests. It creates a dynamic where, if this happened and it was me or you, maybe our first phone call would be to an attorney, but her first phone call was to her PBA rep, because that's her savior. She doesn't rely on a lawyer. She knows that the union will keep her from being held accountable, or at least she believes that. And the truth is, when that sort of influence and impact is working in the background, the law becomes secondary to those priorities. And it becomes a non-neutral playing field where the people who don't have access and privilege lose. And I also think that it has to be mentioned that had this been anybody else, had it been me or you, and specifically had it been a male non-police officer who had done this, there's a very good chance that that guy would have made his exit from this scene with a toe tag, because this would have been an easily identifiable case where officers might have rushed in knowing there was an active home invasion and the person had assaulted everybody and used deadly force when they encountered them in the home. But they didn't do it because they knew who it was. And they didn't do it because she was a police officer. And they intentionally ignored domestic violence laws and wrote her a ticket. So her law enforcement status changed the calculus of how to handle this entirely. And it was all because of the unions. So that's what I mean when I talk about how the influence of unions and the impact of law enforcement unions is a disease. It is a disease that spreads to everything it touches. And it's not even really about the protection or not protection of individual officers. It's about a structure that bends the system to its will. Sometimes it does it subtly, and sometimes it does it like this, like right straight in your face, and dares you to do something about it. And I'm thankful that they did. I do have to give props to the state attorney's office for handling it the way they did, because, hey, look, they could have just swept it under the rug, and they didn't do that. But the real danger is that it creates a two-tiered justice system where those with privilege and access and those on this side of the justice system get certain privileges and rights, and we get whatever's left, which isn't much. It certainly isn't the approach that, well, she just needs time and tears and patience to sort of get through this, and we need to handle her with kid gloves. No, we get 2 rounds to the chest and 1 to the head, or at very best, a taser in the back and being dragged out against our will, followed by a lengthy prison sentence and a felony record. So while I think the resolution to this case is a step in the right direction, and that is positive, it's a double-edged sword, because it also shows us things that are ugly about the system that are very, very difficult to change. So anyway, I just wanted to bring you guys the update. I was just absolutely shocked at the way she acted, even though on paper I could kind of tell that's the way it went. But the fact that we got to see it and we got to see the response to it told us everything we needed to know about the situation, and it proved that we were right. So hope you guys got something from it. I will be back to my regular life, my regular studio situation next week. But in the interim, I'd like to thank you for watching the first upload of the Daily Draw. That was awesome. I appreciate you guys supporting that. I'll continue to do it. This week, I'm only going to do maybe 3. And then next week, I might do 3 or 4 just on the off days when I upload regular videos. And then after probably towards the end of December and the beginning of January, that will be like a daily show Monday through Friday, to the extent that I can keep up with it and to the extent that you guys will watch it. But for now, I'd like to invite you to check us out on all the socials. I'll put up a QR code here where you can scan it with your phone, and that will take you to the Linktree site where you can check us out on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Substack, You can join on a paid tier of Substack if you want, but that's only for people who want to support the channel monetarily. I don't put anything on there that people have to pay for. If you don't want to follow us to other platforms, but you'd like to support monetarily, I'll leave my Venmo and PayPal links both here on the screen as well as in the description. Please remember to like and subscribe and leave a comment on the video. Check out some of the other videos on the channel. Leave a comment on there as well. Until I see you again, take care. Always film your interactions with the police and keep your evidence to yourself.